G'day, it's Aussie Dollar Man. Welcome to the Forex Form Guide. A quick one tonight because I'm a little bit under the weather. I've had a bad cold all week and it's taking all I've got just to look after myself and my family. But I did want to get this out there. We're going to look at the Aussie, the pound, the euro, and the yen as usual. Quick disclaimer, this is for educational and informational purposes only and shouldn't be taken as a recommendation or trading advice. Do your own research and trade responsibly. Aussie dollar was sideways all week. This was the start of the week. This is a 4-hour chart, which usually shows a little bit more volatility than this. And it's just gone absolutely nowhere. It was about a 60, 70 tick range all week. So a very, very quiet week. You can see it there on the daily chart over here. Sideways, sideways, sideways. And it's a sideways pattern within a larger sideways pattern. Drawing a couple of trend lines from the tops and the bottoms, you can see we're about to test that bottom trend line. It looks to me like it's going to break through. We've got a lower top shaping potentially on the daily swing chart here if we do have any sort of down day on Monday. However, we'll see how that looks compared with the euro and the pound in just a moment. As I mentioned in last week's episode, we did have an outside reversal bar here on the weekly chart, so I was expecting this to run down during the week. It in fact opened near the lows, ran up a little bit, and then came down and closed near the lows. So nothing's changed on my viewpoint from this. I think it'll run down this week. I'll wait and see what happens. I probably won't be watching it on Monday. Not a lot often happens on Monday before about 5 p.m. Sydney time anyway. Before the European and later the US markets open up as well. So I won't be in a hurry to look at this, but I will have a look Monday evening. But that's what I think on the Australian dollar. If we look at the pound, you can see that it has been starting to go down. We had our weekly turning point there and the market did run down. A very, very weak pullback though, as you can see here on the daily chart. It's looking like the weekly move down has already failed. We had a run down on the daily chart, a pullback, and then a weak run down, and it's taken out that top there. So that's looking like that weekly move may be over. Now, for a couple of months, I've been eyeing off this 131 level on the pound, this 75% retracement here. So perhaps we're going to get that one last push up into that level. We'll wait and see what happens this week. It's going to be a big week this week because the 2nd of April, Donald Trump has promised to come out swinging. I mean, I don't know what you would call what he's already been doing, but he's going to come out swinging with some big tariffs on the 2nd of April. Depending on who and what he targets, we could see some wild moves in the currencies, and perhaps there's a little bit of a sense of waiting for that. But we'll come to the news in just a moment. On to the euro, very similar to the pound. It's run down. It did manage to run down all of last week. Now, it was only a couple of hundred ticks, so only a little bit more than, say, on the Australian dollar, given that the euro price is a fair bit higher than the Australian dollar price, but a big swing down there, and we're having a bit of a pullback here now. It already touched up here at its 200% and 75% milestone. Maybe it comes up and double tops, or maybe that top is already in. But I do think that across the board, the Aussie, the euro, and the pound are due for some downside movement. Now, as a trader, it doesn't bother me at all if they turn around and go up. All I do is change my thinking of, well, here's my next pressure date that I'm watching. Am I looking for it to be a high or a low? I was looking for a low. Now it's a high. So I look for long trades trading up into the high, and then I look for short trades trading out of the high. Last one is the US dollar yen. We've been tracking this one. It has, looking at its September lows last year, it has retraced 62.5%, but it regained the 50% milestone, and it's still above there at the moment. So it's putting up a little bit of a fight. You'd want to see it go a little bit higher, definitely above that 37.5, before you're sure that this is not just a pullback on the way down and then more downside there. Onto the economic calendar. There's a few things happening this week. The Chinese manufacturing data at 12:30 p.m. Sydney time on Monday. Eurozone preliminary CPI Monday evening. And then on Tuesday, we actually have the cash rate announcement in Australia. The general consensus is there's not going to be any change to the cash rate, but the RBA has been known to surprise before. On Tuesday night or Wednesday morning Sydney time, you've got some manufacturing and job openings for the US coming out, and then the non-farm employment change 11:15 p.m. on Wednesday night. Now, that's the 2nd of April. That's the date when Donald Trump is going to be announcing some tariffs. I had a quick look. I can't see a specific time that he's going to be doing this, so it could just be a bit of a day to be wary. On to Thursday, you've got Swiss CPI numbers, and Thursday night, US unemployment claims and services PMI. And then on Friday, you've got Canadian employment figures and US dollar employment figures, and Fed Chair Powell speaking as well. So there's a fair bit happening this week on the calendar. From my point of view, though, my main focus will be on the Australian dollar and seeing if we can break out of this sideways range one way or another. If we do bounce off that trend line and start pushing up, I'll be looking around the middle of April for my next turning point on that market. But if we confirm that lower top on the daily chart, I'd say will probably run down into that mid-April date. That's all for this week, a short version of the Forex Form Guide. I'll be resting up this week, but I'll aim to have something a lot more in-depth for you next week. Thank you for watching and supporting the channel. I do really appreciate it. If you can drop a like and a comment below, I'd really appreciate it. Hope you all have a lovely week. Best of luck with your trading, and bye for now.